What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here, doing another review, doing Spider-Man 238. And this continues the trend of the exiting Brian Michael Bendis, kind of lazily going along. Now, this is not nearly as bad or melodramatic as the last issue. This definitely kind of picks up the action a little bit and makes you feel like it's a Spider-Man story. But what irritates me about this Spider-Man is just kind of a lack of continuity and this genuine like general feel of like isolation. Like every other superhero book out there right now, there's like some sort of like cohesiveness, which can be kind of annoying, and this feels like completely on its own. And I'll give you some examples as we're going through it. But the story thus far, so this is part of the Sinister Six Reborn, which has literally been going on since the relaunch of Legacy. So we're in, I think, like it doesn't even say, but this is like part 6 or 7. Like this should have been a 3-issue arc, and we're on like 6 or 7 of this, and it is dragging, and we finally get to some action. So let's go ahead and start off. We get again a mouthful of a catch-up page. So you get the normal, hey, this is how I became Spider-Man. But then you have here, he's been having trouble with his heroics, keeping his private life and his heroics apart. The time-traveling mutant Cable has approached Miles' father, a mysterious opportunity. When his high school friend Lana was in trouble, he asked for Spider-Man's help. So now we get Lana's mother has joined the Sinister Six, and Sinister Six now Lana's forced to actually help Bombshell, and Miles is ready to fight anyone to help get Lana out. But then he has, 2-day, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, the fact that you need all of this just to sum up where we're at in the story is mind-boggling. Sinister Six is back. They're stealing a helicarrier. Lana's in trouble. The end. You're 4 sentences max. You could probably sum up everything that's gone on in the last 6 issues. So let's kind of jump in. We got some fairly decent art. The art on Spider-Man has been fairly consistent. It definitely has more of a younger tone to it, which fits the kind of the feel of the book. So that's acceptable. So you have Iron Spider, who is Aaron Davis, who is Miles' uncle, who, if anyone knows, was at one point dead, and now mysteriously is back to life, and mysteriously in the Marvel 616, not in the Ultimate Universe. Anyway, he's doing a heist to steal a helicarrier. He's formed this new Sinister Six with Hobgoblin, this wannabe female Electro, Sandman, Spot, and Bombshell. And then because Bombshell there has to be 2 of them, Lana is there as well. So they decide they're going to go ahead with the plan now. And this is where I started to get confused, but it kind of came together a little bit in the end. In the last issue, Hobgoblin was going to steal the helicarrier for himself when he was caught by the Hulk. So the fact that he's kind of back in this group, I was a little concerned, like, where's the continuity? But we hit some other continuity issues later on, and I'll point those out. So they're pretty much going back and forth, and this is one of the things. So they're all in, everyone's in, and Sandman says, "What about Spider-Man?" He said, "It's taken care of." "What do you mean?" It means we have a deal and an understanding. So this right here is my problem with this panel. There are multiple Spider-Men. You made a deal with Miles Morales. You're taking the chance that Peter Parker isn't going to swing in, or any of the other heroes, in New York, are going to come in and stop you. So the fact that Sandman is seemingly only worried about a specific Spider-Man is a little weird. Like, you'd think that he would be like, hey, no heroes are going to show up, right? And he's going to be like, I took care of the one I was most worried about. That right there would have made a ton more sense. So there's a nice little scene between Genki and Miles, and I usually like their kind of back and forth. It's usually pretty playful and endearing. It turns out that Miles' new girlfriend Barbara is a little jealous of Lana because Miles and Lana kind of have this sibling relationship, even though he sees her as kind of a sibling, and she's actually really likes him, which is why Fabio left. So their plan all hinges on Red Hulk, old General Ross, leaving his shift and stealing the helicarrier before the replacement shows up. So Lana, of course, you'd think that if someone is pretty much involved in the plan against their will, essentially kidnapped, you would take away their phone. So she obviously texts Miles exactly where they are. So the plan starts to go off without a hitch, and this is where it starts to get ridiculous. And again, notice how many double-page spreads we have. To me, again, that's super laziness. I don't mind a double-page spread, but to me, it was this was 1 page worth of stuff, and they were like, let's just stretch it out. I don't need 2 pages of this, because then, okay, you have this huge helicarrier. It looks cool, but you have 5 little pieces of dialogue, and it could have been summed up. This could have been 1 page, and you could have had another page of actual, nitpicking. Anyway, so, Sandman's taking care of some fires that apparently happened on the deck, whereas, Mom Bombshell is obviously Mom of the Year because she's, 1, a raging alcoholic, and 2, a very physical and mentally abusive parent. So, Spider-Man swings in somehow out of nowhere to take out Hobgoblin, who is the lookout. And again, I don't know how this is even possible, and I'll explain that in a minute. So, of course, by misunderstanding, the Hulk, Red Hulk, comes back and thinks that Miles is part of the heist, because he says that Hobgoblin said that a spider person was attached to this. So instantly, he's like, "Oh, spider person, you're involved." And I just want to... Okay, here it is. So this was honestly the worst part of the book for me. It's a really, once again, a double-page spread. But something is said here that completely ruins continuity. So Sandman pushes the Hulk and Spider-Man off the edge, and Spider-Man goes, "What a great time to run out of web fluid." Now, if you're just reading this, or even if you just started reading this during the Legacy run, that might make sense to you. But if you read the previous storyline where Miles went to Tokyo, he lost his web shooters, and even in this storyline, he's made it very apparent that he is without his web shooters. And that's the only reason why he developed this crazy new power. So the fact that he says, "What a time to run out of web fluid," you don't even have web shooters to put your web fluid in. Laziness on Brian Michael Bendis' part. He is checked out. The bill is coming. He already has his credit card ready. He's leaving no tip. Like, that's where we're at. So then Miles tries his new little venomy web thing and does nothing. That's all I'm going to show. This is going to be a really short review because, again, this book was so lazily done. I'm going to lazily do this review. There is a really neat little twist at the end. F it. I'm going to show that. I won't show the end of the actual story, but I'll show the teaser for what is coming. So, and again, I don't remember Cable approaching Jefferson about Spider-Man being part of his team, but this is beyond ridiculous, this exchange here. So, you have River and Jefferson, and they're talking with Cable, and he's like, I hear you want my son to be a part of your new super secret spy organization. Well, and he's like, stop talking. So Cable's like, look. And he's like, I didn't agree to this because obviously River was not supposed to be involved. It was just supposed to be between him and Jefferson. And he's like, this is Miles' mother. We have decided she's going to have a word with you about our son. And he's like, I'm not doing this because, again, he's like, I'm not playing babysitter. I'm not talking to mama about this. He says, if you want my son to be a part of your organization, I'm going to need to speak to the person in charge. And then this is where it gets even more ridiculous. So Cable says, what if I'm the person in charge? And she says, if you want my son to be a part of your organization, I'm going to need to speak to the person in charge. And Cable just like stares at her. And she gives the, I'm waiting to speak to your manager look. And it's ridiculous. Laziness. That's how I'm going to sum that up. Laziness. Yeah, I have high hopes. I really liked Miles Morales in the Ultimate Universe. I thought his stories were engaging, and kind of the death of his mother really is what kind of drove him forward and gave him a lot of the damage. That was his Uncle Ben, and I think like having her back, it would be like having Uncle Ben back. You miss that. That lesson, those life lessons about being a superhero. So, ever since he's been part of the regular Marvel universe, Miles has like literally done nothing. Hopefully, once Bendis is gone, and I don't know who is taking over this. I think it may be Kelly Thompson. I'm not sure. I hope they iron out the bugs and they get Miles a personality with some action. But yeah, subscribe over here, watch some more videos, hit me up in the comments, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time.